Senator Cassells.
Yeah, thanks very much, Cathaoirleach. Again, in a very similar vein, and again going back to the fact that in the legislation we do have specific reference to certain policies of the government, in particular in terms of climate and communications, and rightly so, in respect to climate change, equally in respect of this particular amendment. And I feel very strongly about this because it figured very prominently during our debates, very prominently. And so we have called that in performing its function, the Commission will have regard to issues of addiction, in particular gambling, and shall have regard to policies of the government. Now, I'm very conscious that we have gambling legislation coming forward, that, please God, come the end of this year, we will see a gambling commissioner appointed, and so having inserted this, that then we would have due regard for the work of the bodies entrusted in the state to deal with that. When we went through the addiction levels online in the sphere of gambling, it was frightening beyond belief. We are talking about a multi-billion euro industry in this country who are prepared to ravage the health and mental well-being of young people, old people, male, female, they don't care. It is insidious. They use the technology to penetrate the very vulnerable, very prominent people who are trying to expose it. People like Paul Merson in England, who lost every single cent he had as a professional sports person, liaised with broadcasters to highlight the fact that these guys can create case files on you. Case files. If they knew, Cathaoirleach, that you had an addiction, they will create a specific case file if they know you're pumping enough money into it, and to keep you hooked. It is the most insidious industry in this country, and we've pandered to them for too long. They used to walk around in here like they owned the joint, bringing politicians away for freebies. Goddamn disgrace what they have done to people in this country. And for anyone who has a family member or a friend who has been affected by gambling, and it's glorified, it'll be glorified again this week in Punchestown, like it's part of our national psyche. It's not. It's not. And in this particular amendment, it is putting this issue of addiction, and in particular gambling, on a par with, as we said, the importance of government policies toward climate change and environmental sustainability as well. We want to see it reflected because it formed such an integral part of our discussions at committee stage. We're going to tackle this, Cathaoirleach, we're going to tackle it strongly. These guys know it's coming. It's making them very uncomfortable that Minister James Brown has taken them on. Very uncomfortable indeed. I hope it's as uncomfortable as a horse facing the chair in the National for these guys. But in the interim, I also want to see it reflected in this bill, because this is the mechanism by which they use the platforms. They don't care about the bookie shops anymore, Cathaoirleach. They don't care. They're irrelevant. This is where they're trying to get people hooked, and I would ask the Minister to reflect positively on it. Thank you, Cathaoirleach.